What's up, YouTube? Life with a Pepperoni here, and we're back on the Roadster. I'm so excited. I know last week a lot of you guys were saying, oh, finish the Roadster before you get a new project and stuff, and I am. I was just so full of excitement. I was just like, man, I want to show these guys. So here we are. Got the Roadster in my shop now, and I'm just going to do a little overview and stuff of like what we did on the thrash. And then I got a couple bits of reversing the front spring, kind of like how to do the rear subframe and how I measured out and stuff to do that. Getting the tires, a couple little things from prior, and then we're like full blown going forward, and I screwed up real bad. You guys remember that episode where my dad and I did the quarter panels? Well, I did them wrong. Let me show you before we go through everything else. So next video is going to be on this. So I could never get this straight. No matter how, that one, really good. This one, the bottom there, big gap up here. No matter what we tried, we could not get it straight, could not get it ready to go. So Carl and I measured it out the other day, and I accidentally, when I welded this on, I made the bottom a 1/4 inch too much. So what I have to do, I have to cut the whole quarter panel out. I have to put a big V in it, a big slice, and actually move the bottom of the B pillar over about a 1/4 inch, like just a bit over. And then that'll allow all this here to line up. Pretty much this has to go to there. So whatever that measurement is. And yeah, so it sucks. I learned a lot, but now I gotta fix it. So yeah, not looking forward to that. Sucks having to redo stuff, but you'll live and learn. So I'm gonna do that. Let's get looking at the car. I'm super excited. So let's start with the engine bay. Engine's all in. Like I told you guys on the previous one, I had videos of putting all the engine stuff together, cleaning it out. A family of mice actually, were living under the engine here, under the valve train in the valley cover, I guess you would call it. They got through the old fuel pump, and all the valves were rusty. All the valves were not seized like the lifters and stuff, but it was not looking good. So over the past, I guess, couple months, I've been just oiling it, freeing them up, kind of like rotating the engine by hand. And it got to the point where oil actually like hit the roof in Carl's shop, and I knew there was oil pressure, so that was a good thing. And finally, I got all of them released, so you could just turn over the engine, the valves would go open and close. And that's why I kind of say I don't know if it's going to run. I think it is going to, but that's the inner part of me like, oh, it's not going to work. That's why you get another motor. That motor was a very good deal. So yeah, I picked up another 8BA, and this is a 36 or 35 flathead, a 21 stud. And then this is an 8BA out of a 49 Merc. No, it's not. It wouldn't be a Merc. It would be just like a Ford coupe. And it was his daily driver and everything. He pulled it to put a way nicer motor in, had good compression and everything, and was a good deal. My buddy brought it down from, it was like 15 hours away, so super grateful for there. But yeah, now I have a backup plan. If this motor does not run, it's staying flathead. I will do whatever I can to keep the Roadster an old traditional build. So yeah, engine's all gone through, hopefully gonna be good. We got the steering all figured out. Used a F1 steering box with a LG Customs adapter kit. Bent up all the steering linkage and everything. I still have to go through this. I have to actually get a tap. I think it's 11/16, Carl said. Get a tap for here, and then get a bar. Tap the bar, thread the bar, and then there's a link that I'll have to get that comes here to here. Because what's happening right now is when I steer, I kind of wrote, you see the 3 lines here? Or, oh, maybe it's there. Yeah, so to turn one way, it's way quicker than the other, and the ratio is just way off. So they make a link here That's gonna go there, and I will adapt that. The front axle, as you will see in this video, has a reverse spring. So what that does is you take the spring and you flip it around, you put it on a press like I'll show you in a little bit here, and you literally re-arc the spring the opposite way. And what that will do is brings the spring mount from here to down here. So that gets you 2 inches of lowering in the front, and I did the same to the back. Well, the back I had bought a spring that already had that done, so that gave me an extra 2 inches. So in the front, I'm about 2 inches here, 2 inches here, and then this is an extra like 2 3/4 from factory. So I'm about, I don't know, 8.5 inches lower than factory in the front. And the back, I did a 4.5 inch Z. And with the reverse spring on the back, that's another 4.5 inches. So I'm about 8.5 to 10 inches lower than factory. So I'm stoked about that. I really love the stance of the car, and it might get a little bit lower once I get leaf spring mounts on it, but that's even better because lower is better. So I'm stoked on that. The body is all together. Carl and Kyle did a phenomenal job. Carter's Auto Restyling and then Make It Custom. They were working on the body. If you guys didn't see, check out the earlier videos. They got it all together. They did a whole bunch of rust repair. They did all the new rockers and stuff. All there. I'm going to have to chop that out to actually clear the axle. Sorry, guys, but I want my car low. And yeah, they louvered the rear deck lid. There's all the lowering that you guys will see in this video. Do you guys think I should do external mounts? Like one mount there and one mount there or one mount there? Or should I do them internal, like right here? I would do like a late 40s, early 50s Ford style or whatever I can find, but those are the common ones. And I was thinking of doing that because I kind of like the external look. Like I won't have external door handles, but there are external hinges, and I kind of like the idea of the external hinges on the trunk. But I don't know. We'll see. And then yeah, this door fits really good. And then the transmission and everything's in. I got to build a seat because the seat I had originally gotten was the actual rumble seat. I have to shorten the column, I think another inch just to move it close to the windshield. I'm still a bit too fat to get through there. And I enjoy eating. So it's life with a pepperoni because I don't like pepperoni sticks, but I like salami and prosciutto and a lot of dried sausage. Polish sausage is my favorite. Like a dried hunter sausage, a Polish hunter sausage, my favorite. But yeah. I think that's it. I think that's it. I forgot I bought these. A little surprise. Original 1950 or 1951 Pontiac taillights. They're not the coolest lights ever, but they're simple. They're original Pontiac, and I think they're cool. They'll match the car. Like, I'm not going for outrageous. I'm not going for crazy. I'm just going for 50s prior old school traditional hot rod. Just building it like they would have in 55, just being a young teenager with all the junk you got. So yeah, I think those are gonna look really good right there. Just do one there, one there. I kind of looked at a lot of different taillights, and these were the ones that I wanted to go with. And I didn't want to just buy brand new ones, so I opted for an original set. They're not perfect, but they're good. And yeah, I got one more thing to show you guys. I totally forgot I got these. Look at these. Look at these. I don't know what side this is. Might be this side. I think I got the right one. Thanks, Mike, a gentleman from California, messaged me on Instagram saying I needed these and sent them to me. I am so excited. So these actually replace these bad boys here. I have to trim them a little bit, trim them around the seat, but they actually replace that there and continue the body line underneath, because there is none. So I'm super stoked about those. These are just brand new ones. So I'll probably trim the seat that's in there to fit around these, because Roadster uses a different seat. But yeah, all the little pieces to the puzzle are coming along. So yeah, let's get to the video. Here they are. So they're super old school, safety, all weather. I don't know the date of them. They're probably from the 60s. Super stoked about it. Carl donated them to the Roadster from, he got some new tires for the, what does he have? The Zephyr. Oh, brain fart. But yeah, so they're a Goodyear 6.5 16. I kind of wanted, like I said earlier, like I wanted all the tires the same size, if not just a little bit different, but they got a good look to them. They're pretty tall. They're not super small or anything. I'm stoked. I'm amped. If you guys need your tires swapped or need new rims or anything, head over to Albion Tire. They're kind of on the Maple Ridge Mission border, just by, they're in Albion. That's why they're called Albion Tire. All the dudes are super cool there. A bunch of them race vehicles as well, and they're car guys doing car things. So super stoked, and they always treat us well. Like, they do a very good job. They're reasonably priced. They're super quick turnaround. Like, there's no reason not to go there. It's the day before the thrash. Literally, it's like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. and I'm just burning on the midnight oil right now, just trying to get everything done so then it's a great weekend. It's a great thrash. I've done all the super bad, like disgusting work that nobody wants to do, like the rest of these frame rails. So what I've gathered, I'm gonna finish these frame rails off and get the rear end supported, because Carl has a plan and him and Kyle are gonna hopefully do the bodywork and the quarters and stuff and actually make this thing nice, which I had zero expectations of making this car nice. Like, that's why it's a couple of quarters in one. Like, this thing's, it originally started as it wanted to be like a fun project. I just wanted to replicate that feeling I got driving half-asses. And now it's just becoming even better than I ever imagined. I had a wonderful day today. I got some really good goodies, like our friend Dave, the gentleman I met at the swap meet, went and collected it. And look at this. Look at this. Ooh, 3-inch chopped Roadster windshield. I've been looking for a Roadster windshield for quite a while, and I haven't been able to find one. And he was like, you need this. And then the better part, he had some 28-29 Roadster doors. He had fixed. There's a repair here, but he did a fantastic job. This is an 80-year-old man, and he's still kicking. He's coming out this weekend. He's loving it. He's been building Model A's since who knows when. He said the age 12, and he said that his original one that he built at age 12 is actually still in Duncan, and the dude drives it around, and that's so cool. So I'm super excited. I'm meeting all super cool sorts of people, all different kind. The feedback's incredible, and I just want to say before I start, thank you guys so much. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this 1/2x1. Yeah, I'll move this side. I'm gonna weld it there, because then I'll get a strong corner weld there and across here and underneath. I'll chop a little bit so it's flush, and then I'll bring it up in here. And honestly, I'll probably come in front of this, just maybe I'll come to the back, and then I'll come across back here just to make like a subframe portion. Here you can see I kind of changed it up a little bit. I didn't go past here just because it'll be protruding past all these rivets and everything. So what I've done there is I've just kind of offset cut it there just so it sits here over nicely on the frame rail and I can get some good weld around there. And same here. And then I'm going to take a 1x1 and I'll put the 1x1 across, I think, or maybe I'll come through here. I'm not totally sure yet. I want to get something so I can get it supported back here. So what I'm doing here is now I just ground that, drilled these a bit bigger. Now these fit in there like that, and they fit pretty flush. So now I'm just gonna weld those in and then grind them flat. So got those all welded in. Got that all mocked in, so these, that's tight. So now I'm just gonna recut these, do a 1 inch across, and then I'm gonna come back here off the 1 inch, about here, and then I'll come straight to these. So here I'm just measuring up for the 1x1 and cutting it up and then just placing it in place. What I'm gonna do is take this square, this is my nice little small one, and go here to here and lock it. This is how I set up the CNC table too. Then I'm gonna go on this side, and man, that's a miracle. That's square. So I'm gonna weld that in. I was not expecting that. There we go. Okay, so I have some of this 1/2x1 left. So I think I'll make these ones going here, 1/2x1, and then I'll use this 1/2 inch. And I'll have this one go across the back like that, because that one will just have a bit more support. So I'm just gonna measure off, see how long I need these ones, and then I'll get going. So I'm doing here, I'm just gonna square this off here like that, have this aligned. I'm gonna use these holes here as alignment ones, as alignment references. So that's gonna go there. Oh. So I just thought of this right now. I don't exactly know how I'm gonna mount the body to the frame. I might just use like a 3/8 spacer or 3/8 rubber or something, just cause I couldn't get the wood on time. So all this is technically gonna be raised a little bit, but it's all vertical, so it should align. And then I could just put spacers under here, worst case. But I know that there will be aligned and stuff, so. I've kind of thought about the future, not fully, but I did. So now, So I got these all bolted in there. I'm gonna have to push this one down a little bit. I'm gonna have to take some more measurements and see kind of what's square and what's not and where it's missing. It could just be like the whole subframe's lopsided a little bit, so, or the body on it. So I'm getting pretty tired. It's 12:45 right now, so I'm gonna head home and re-tackle this in the morning. So a lot of time with these old cars, these bolts are super rusty and pretty mangled, like this one. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna hit it with a torch. I'm not gonna blow it away or anything. I'm just gonna get it red hot to release the rust from the threads, and just heating it up and letting it cool down should make it come off really easy. Then I'll just cut these two, and I'm gonna just flip this around. Like I said, I'm not trying to cut this nut off or anything. I'm just trying to get it red hot. Like that. Just gonna let it cool down. I'm gonna get some big clamps. These clamps here. You can hear it sizzling. So there's that one. And this one over here. I'm not sure if this is gonna like spring out. It shouldn't, but. So I'm not gonna take any leaves out. I don't know how much this is gonna come down, but I know we did about 2 inches there. This is gonna add another 2 inches. The axle I did 4.5 inches. So it's, this thing's gonna be pretty slammed, but that's sick. Oh, that one just broke, nice. Okay. Let's see how far this springs. Oh, it's not gonna be that much. Okay, look at that. Okay, now I'm probably gonna cut like 1/2 inch off each side of this one. Where did I put the grinder? I'm gonna take the edge of here and here and put them on the edge of this table. Right there, right there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a Sharpie, or no, I'll take a chalk. And all I'm gonna do is trace this. And trace this entire way. Okay, so now I have my stock spring kind of angle. So now I'm gonna go over the press. I'm gonna put a big die in it, and I'm just gonna slowly go along the whole thing here until this becomes this way. And then that's what that's gonna do is that's gonna drop us 2 inches or 2¼ inches on the edges. And then that spring will be faced like that. And then we can re-put the pack back together and put it back in the car. Well, put the pack back together and then go from there. So I'm just gonna put this in here. I'll start off with the edge, and I'm just gonna go slowly by slowly. So I'm just gonna go I'll do 2.5 tons. And that's straighten it out. So there we have it. New leaf, well, old leaf, reversed. Went a bit too much, but that's gonna be fine. There's gonna be pressure on there, built a new bolt, and good to go. We're gonna be doing the Crossmember that all of you guys have been like debating about and talking about in the comments. So here it is. So I got the 32 aftermarket rad shell just because it made way more sense to do that than anything else. And it looks like the holes don't line up anywhere. It's probably different on a deuce. It's meant for a 32, so that makes sense. Not to worry though, but I think I'm gonna just build a new Crossmember from scratch. I'm just gonna cut it out on my CNC machine, just use 1/4 inch, make it nice and easy. I've been in long debate after the last couple days and just thinking about whether I'm gonna fix it, fix all the cracks, or just make one from scratch. And in a timely fashion, it's gonna be way quicker to make a new one and only easier. And now that there's no spots to actually mount the radiator, it's gonna add to that I can make new mounts. I can also put a flat Crossmember in, so that will also add 2.5 inches of drop about roughly, and it'll just help overall the chassis and everything. So I made the decision just now, so I'm gonna start bracing. I'm gonna do just weld the brace across here. And then I'm gonna cut this Crossmember out, take some measurements from it and design it in Fusion 360. And then I will cut it out, weld it together and put it back in. It's rather than the other option would be, let's put this over here so it doesn't fall. If it's already leaning, it can't lean anymore. The other thing would have to be like, I was thinking of cutting it here and cutting it here and then going flat. But then after that, like I still have this here and I don't know if this is gonna hit the motor or anything. So I think I'm better off just cutting it out completely, starting from scratch and going from there. So I think overall, it won't necessarily be original, but I think in this case, it will just be better off. So I'll probably just grab the torch and just torch all these off quickly. I'm gonna weld a piece of 1x1 across here, and that'll give us an ample support. So here I am just welding in the 1x1 HSS just to give it support, so when I take out the front end, the front cross member, it doesn't spring out and it holds its shape completely. It's just a common thing you do when you're going into like this much modification and you want to keep things square. Just add as much support as you need. Usually you can do X's, but I know there's more supports in the frame that hold it from twisting. So I just figured one would be enough. It's also welded to the frame table still at this point. Here I am just washing out all the rivets. These cross members are all riveted in upside, downside. And so just washing that out before I can take it out and put in the new one. Really nice to have a torch when working on hot rods and stuff, and a big hammer. Need the big hammer. Here I am just bending the front cross member brackets. I thought I took video of actually cutting everything, but I didn't. We just cut it on the CNC machine. But here I am just matching the angles to the cross member, because this will allow it to kind of move around the main pulley and such on the engine. Just gives it a bit more space and does what it needs to do. Here I'm just sharpening out. I scribed all the actual bend lines, but they're really hard to see, so afterwards I just go over it with a Sharpie just to get my center line, and then you can bend on the line. And then here I am just tacking it all together. I didn't get them perfectly, so I had to clamp them, but a good 90% of the trouble is getting that main bend in, so adjusting it and tacking it to place is not a bad thing. It's funny, Carl came into the shop earlier and he was like, man, why don't you just weld up this old cross member? It's fine. And I don't know. I don't disagree with him. Like, there would be some, if I cut it the way he said, it would totally work out, but the radiator didn't actually fit with that one. So there was a few things that I was like, probably wouldn't go. So I just made a new one. It's almost done. Here it is. I'm just gonna weld it together right now, and then I'll put it in and it will be good. And then I'm gonna do a Lee style tab. Ooh, I have to bring that out. Where it's 2 1/2-inch pieces of steel right here. One on this side, one on this side, and then it just holds your spring in. So I'm gonna go that route after this, and yeah. Ooh, I should see if the spring fits in here before I weld this. That fits in there. So we are good to go. Yeah, that would have sucked if that didn't fit. but it does. So we're golden. So yeah, I'm gonna weld that up now and we're golden. Let's try this time. Yeah, that already fits way better. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna align the center hole with this hole. Okay, I'm gonna do the center of this hole with the center of that hole. Okay, that's pretty good. That side looks good. Ooh, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work because that kind of like goes in a little bit. Maybe like this. Kind of the same. Oh, that one's even more on an angle. Let's measure from this hole here. Good tape measure. Okay, this was like this. Okay, so that was kind of in the middle, so. I was gonna put this to the end here. Okay. Let's measure from there. $26 3/8. 26 and a half. Six and a half. Ooh. Okay, I think those are off. That's what 3/4. I didn't realize that was live the whole time. So what I did is kind of centered this in here because this measurement is what I based it off of. And there, so that's, I went 3/4 from here to there. And that should be it. So now I'm just gonna weld it in and front cross member is done. So now we'll see with the radiator on. You can see there's room on both sides for that there. Let's get these off. No, that leaves there. So that's going to give us a bunch of room. We're going to be good to go. So, all welded in. I just rosette welded it in the old holes. And there we go. Got some little welds on the side there, and front cross member is in. Unfortunately, it's not original, but I think we'll be better off. And I got some lowering in there too. So I think it ends up being about 2 inches of lowering while there. So yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I think I'm gonna put the steering wheel, I was gonna end it with the steering column and stuff, but then Carl broke my heart. He's like, you didn't shorten the... So these threads were super mangled, so I just took a tap to them. You can see they're much better now. So I know they make thread chasing tools, but I don't have one of those, so not this big at least. So now I'm just gonna run the tap through it. So my battery died, and well, since my battery was dead, I had to do some other stuff. So got these new bushings in. They were quite a pain in the butt because, is that on? Yeah. They were the wrong outside diameter. So I had to put them on the lathe and make them smaller, and then I pressed them in. I pressed the old bushings out, and here we are, my battery's charged. So next up, I'm just gonna pull these off. I'm gonna pull the arms apart. Just grind those, cut those off. And then I'm gonna split the wishbones up here, weld some ends on, and we're good to go. So what I'm doing here, I don't exactly know how far this has to go in to get to the diameter of this. So I'm just gonna chop them off inch by inch until it goes in, because it sure doesn't go in right now, so. Just hold this. And mint. I didn't bevel that. Well, the next one I will. you want to film? Yeah, sure.
What are you looking for?
Oh, Carl. Yeah, Carl took it and put it somewhere. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Next week, we'll be on the Roadster again. I'm going to pretty much do Roadster stuff from here on out until it's running and driving, and then I'm going to get to the 36. I'm not going to leave this one in stalemate and not finish it. I want to finish this one and then move on because I need that like continuous motivation to push, because it wears you out and sometimes I get bored too, and that's the way she goes. So thank you guys for watching. Next week, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna start with a door and I'll kind of go from there and start making a big list, taking stuff off, and get ready to drive this thing. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, hit like, and on to the next one. See ya. Woo!